The iPhone 17 Pro has been out for the last month, and this is my full review. If you're excited, drop down below, subscribe to the channel, let's talk about the newest and shiniest Pro iPhone. So, in this review, I don't want to talk about all the new features, but I want to focus on the things that impacted the most my user experience, starting off with the aluminum body. Obviously, this new body is completely made of aluminum and can actually scratch easier than the titanium frames before with the Pro iPhones. And that's something you need to be in mind of. So the thing that actually impacted me the most first was that I needed to buy a case for my iPhone 17 Pro. I chose the slimmest and thinnest case available because, again, I don't like to wear cases on my iPhone, but I had the need, because of the new aluminum body, to put a case on. This will scratch easier. This will scratch with keys, coins in your pocket. So be careful if you have bought an iPhone 17 Pro. Get a case for it, you will thank me later, because it can, yes, scratch easier than usual. So the first thing that impacted me the most was the actual build quality of this phone. Even though I understand why Apple did it, and even though I understand why Apple actually created an aluminum device, a completely aluminum device, I still wished that it was stronger and actually didn't scratch that easy. Again, it's normal. My phone doesn't have any damage because I always wear a case. It's a bit dirty, but I always wear a case, so no damage to actually the aluminum body. But I understand why Apple did it. It dissipates the heat better, and so it gets you way better performance with that A19 Pro chip. But be careful because it will scratch with keys and coins in your pocket. Obviously, this has advantages because this phone gets less hot and then the display does not dim as much. This was one of my biggest complaints with the iPhone 16 Pro Max that I used last year. It was that the display got really hot, the phone got really hot, and the display dimmed. And so I could not see it during daylight. Terrible user experience and actually ruined some of my photography. But then Apple fixed it. Thank God, they fixed it with the aluminum body. The iPhone dissipates much better now with the new vapor chamber technology, the aluminum body. This phone gets way cooler than the iPhone 16 Pro Max, but at the cost of durability with the overall body. So Apple compromised, makes sense. Now this is the performance iPhone, not the premium iPhone. Something to look at because in my iPhone Air review, I talked about the differences between the iPhone Pro model and the iPhone Air. So go check it out if you want to see the full comparison and the full thing, the full theory, but I'm just saying this is less durable because this is the performance iPhone, not the premium one. Again, Apple compromised, makes sense, but it was one of the first compromises to actually create a performance iPhone. The next thing that actually impacted me, my user experience that much, was the new battery size. Yes, these new iPhones now, they got much bigger batteries than before, which means now your battery life, coupled together with a new and more efficient A19 Pro chip, is insane. This battery life is much better than the older iPhone 16 Pro. I would say like 20%, 25% better than before. You will notice that, for sure. And so if you buy this smaller iPhone, this will be really good. Because the smaller iPhone normally has worse battery than the Pro Max iPhone. If you have the Pro Max iPhone, whichever generation you bought, it will last you the whole day. But if you bought the Pro iPhone, even after a few months, you will notice the difference. You will notice the decline. It will die. It won't last you the whole day. Now, with this Pro iPhone, no issues. Lasts me the whole day easily. And even better, with battery health. Now, these iPhones, because they have bigger batteries, their battery health should degrade at the same rate, but because the battery is bigger, it will last you longer throughout more years. And so, you shouldn't be afraid to buy the Pro iPhone. And if you thought that the Pro Max iPhone was too big, but the only thing that actually hanged on that phone was the battery, now you can switch and go for the Pro iPhone. The smaller version, just like I did. I think you won't regret. I just love this new size, much better in the hand. It's much actually portable. It feels like a phone. It doesn't feel like a tablet, and it's the perfect size display. This has a 6.3-inch display, so I think it's on that sweet spot between the 6.3 and 6.5. I think that the iPhone Air has the perfect size display. 6.5 inches is perfect, but this phone is so small, so compact in the hand. I mean, you can fit it in your hand really easily, reach the four corners of the display really easily, no issues here. And the iPhone feels really comfortable in the hand. Completely made of aluminum and it's really smooth in your hands because they have smoothed out the corners from before. Now the corners are smoother and more, I would say, ergonomic to hold. Obviously, you have three colors. I picked up the orange. The orange was really nice. But again, the bigger battery was another thing that impacted me the most this year. Again, aluminum, battery. You're seeing that Apple changed a lot with the hardware, but also with the software with iOS 26. So I think that these phones are genuinely something new. You will feel like a new device, a new experience. And it was something that actually invited me the most to actually upgrade. This is a completely new device, and Apple built it in a completely new way. And they thought the iPhone in a different way. It is not an iteration. This is truly a new innovation from Apple, because Apple actually changed the game. They changed the way that they looked at the iPhone, and they actually did something different for the first time in a few years. So the iPhone 17 Pro, if you buy it, it will definitely feel like a new phone and a new phone experience, with the new design, with the new camera bump, with the new colors, with the new aluminum frame, and obviously with much bigger batteries, which actually change your experience. And of course, I cannot talk about this new camera bump design and how beautiful it is without talking about the new cameras. Because yes, Apple put much better cameras on the iPhone 17 Pro, and you will definitely notice the difference between this and the iPhone 16 Pro. Not on the main lens. The main lens is an iterative upgrade. It's a bit bigger, the sensor is a bit bigger, you can take a bit sharper photos at night. They will definitely notice the difference. At night, this is where this phone evolved the most. The photos look awesome, they look great, they have a different texture, they have a different look to them. Apple has done an incredible job with software and with the hardware. These lenses are better, simply better than before. But where it actually evolved the most was not at night, it was not on main photos or normal photos, daylight photos on the main 40 megapixel sensor. It is not. It is on both auxiliary cameras. You have an ultra-wide lens, a 40 megapixel coming out of the iPhone 16 Pro Max. This is still probably the same lens. Apple did not specify new specs on this device, but I would say this is a bit better because of the new chip, the A19 Pro chip. So you'll definitely notice a bit more sharper photos during the day and during the night. The sensor might be the same, but where this phone evolved the most was on the telephoto. The telephoto on the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max is now a smaller telephoto. Not a bigger size telephoto, but a smaller telephoto. What do I mean by this? Well, this now can reach up to 4x zoom, or around 100 millimeters of focal range. Before, you know that the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max had a 5x telephoto, 120 millimeter focal range. Where's the difference? Why do you have a worse telephoto on the 17 Pro? You don't. You do have a new telephoto. Now Apple has a new completely sensor. This has a 40 megapixel main sensor. And boys, this is big. Very big. This is around 2 times bigger than the sensor on the iPhone 16 Pro, which means you can take much better low-light photography, especially low-light portrait mode. Yes, if you are used to taking portrait photography at night, which is actually beautiful, I just love to do that, then this phone will excel at that. It is truly incredible what you can take out of this phone. And yet again, because you have a 40 megapixel main sensor, you can crop in on that and get around a 12 megapixel cropped photo on 8x, which is insane. It's almost like optical zoom. You know that lens that you have, which is the 2x in every single iPhone, then this applies also for the telephoto on the iPhone 17 Pro. And with that, you can take 8x telephoto shots during the day, during the night, with optical quality. Before, if you crop in with your fingers, just zoom in, it will be very grainy. Now, the 8x actually works during the night. They look great. They look a bit softer than the 4x telephoto shots, but they also look insane. And it's a different perspective. You have 100 millimeters and you have 200 millimeters instead of the 120 millimeter with the iPhone 16 Pro Max. This was the biggest jump in the cameras, the telephoto. This was incredible. I thought Apple did an amazing job with the camera system this year, much better optimized to take advantage of the sensor and with the software. And if you let Apple Intelligence work, you will see that it makes a big difference on the photos. Obviously, this is not a mirrorless camera replacement yet, but it's getting very close. The main sensor, really good. The ultra-wide, really good. And the telephoto, insanely good this year. I think this is the best lens that Apple put on a phone. The thing is, all the sensors now are balanced, because before you had a 12 megapixel telephoto, 12 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 40 megapixel main sensor. And then you had a 40 megapixel main sensor, a 40 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 12 megapixel telephoto. But now everything is balanced out and you have the same 3, at least, megapixel count lenses. They are big, they work really well, and they can record incredible video. You can take ProRes RAW video on this iPhone to an external storage, yes, but you can take it. And it's a very interesting thing to do. This is a RAW file, so it'll give you all the control over ISO, white balance, all the controls that you need. This sensor will capture all the information. You can also record in 4:3, which is an incredible feature if you want to take like normal video for horizontal video 16:9, or you can crop it in for TikTok or for YouTube Shorts on a 9:16 aspect ratio. This is a really cool feature. If you love cinematography, if you love to take video with your iPhone, this is a game changer. You need to get the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max to use it with other apps like Final Cut Camera app or even Blackmagic Camera app. But I think for the cameras, that's it. The biggest improvement and the thing that I noticed the most about the iPhone 17 Pro, cameras, battery, and the new build and design with the aluminum body. The display didn't change that much, and you will notice that it's the same 6.3-inch display from the iPhone 16 Pro, but they upped the brightness. Now it goes up to 3000 nits of peak brightness. This is good for outside use, whenever you are taking photos and videos during those hot summer days, but now we are getting to winter, so yeah, the sun is not as bright. But let's see, during these September to October months, I've tested it out. Yes, it's brighter, you can notice it definitely, but I would say that only outside. Inside, you won't notice that big of a difference. These displays, they dim very much, which is really, really cool if you want to see it on a very dark environment. So yeah, still around the same display, they are the same sizes. All iPhones now have 120 Hz, and that's something to be actually careful about, because if you only want 120 Hz, and that's the reason that you buy the Pro iPhone this year, you don't need to. Every single other iPhone has 120 Hz. The same technology as the Pro. So if you want 120 Hz, you can grab whichever iPhone you want. This phone has two quirks that I love: the new front-facing camera and the dual capture video on the camera app. But I think that if you go here onto the camera app and you open up the new front-facing camera, is where you see the most changes out of this camera system, because now you have a center stage camera. You have it on the iPad Pro, you have on the MacBook Pro, but now you have it on your iPhone. This is really, really cool. Pick up the iPhone and you can record horizontal video having your phone vertically. Awesome to vlog, because you don't need to be just like this to do it. And then it will adjust automatically. You can also zoom out, bigger sensor, and it will do it automatically to take a photo. But now you have also center stage. So you can rotate, zoom, and auto rotate. And this iPhone will follow you around. It will zoom out, zoom in. I mean, you can see that we try to center me. Of course, it isn't that much big of a sensor, so it won't be as easy, but you'll have center stage on. It can also come here, and here you will have something that is really, really cool. You go into video, and here again, you can record vertical or horizontal video, but you can come here and go here, dual capture. And this is another really cool feature that you have now on your iPhone. You can record the front of your iPhone and the back. And as you can see, I'm right here, and it's pretty cool. I don't know if you can use center stage. Let me just try to see if you can use center stage on dual capture. It can't. But it's really, really cool, because now it will have the option for you to record the front screen and the back screen. Now, let me tell you, normal consumers that I've showed you, these normal people, they say this is the best feature about the iPhone 17 Pro. They love it. They think it's really, really cool. It's almost like a B-reel, and they love it for Instagram. They love it for their Twitter accounts. I think they will use it a lot on social media whenever people get their iPhone 17 Pro in their hands. So again, these were two very quirky features that I think Apple did an amazing job creating, and makes this iPhone different, makes this iPhone fun, and I loved it. Actually loved to use it. The experience of the camera button, the action button, is pretty much the same, and the rest of the buttons are pretty much the same. I would say that the USB-C port is the same, the speakers are about the same, a bit better. So the overall thing is, this iPhone did not change that much, but it changed in some specific areas that it changed everything. Confusing? I know. But it changed the design, so it looks different. It changed the materials, so it feels different. Has bigger batteries, so it actually performs different in terms of battery life. Has newer chips, faster chips, and especially better cameras. So this has evolved in every single category, creating a completely new iPhone experience and creating a completely new iPhone category. This is, for the first time, a Pro iPhone. This deserves the name iPhone 17 Pro. Drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.